And at 10, suit. The suit that Vanny wears and the suit that she is known for is no doubt inspired by Afton and his love of the Bonnie animatronic. At this point, it's probably a little too much love, which I think would definitely have been the case if he didn't shove Jeremy inside of it in 1985. However, I think that it's pretty obvious that Springtrap, or even more so Glitchtrap, inspired Vanny's suit as soon as we saw that she had bunny ears in that one promo image from way back in the day, or even when we first saw her head in FNAF VR's Curse of Dreadbear DLC. The suit Vanny wears is also very clearly a suit, made in a similar style to Glitchtrap's suit, which suggests that either William made it during one of his mind melds where Vanessa goes to sleep and he takes over. The suit is patchy with different materials and fabrics sewn in square patches over certain places like legs and arms, and it's unknown if these are because of cuts or rips in the original suit or if it's because she just didn't have enough fabric to cover those sections, or maybe she thought it was creepier, I don't know. The stitching all over the body also suggests that it's definitely a suit to be worn by a person. But like, my thing is, if you're just trying to catch Gregory, why dress in a creepy suit? Like, why not just make like a normal mask and be a normal killer? I mean, like, I guess if William made it, and like if it is William, then he's a furry, confirmed. And at 9, works for Fazbear. Vanny, or at least her Vanessa half, if she truly is Vanessa, does in fact work for Fazbear Entertainment, as disclosed in FNAF AR's emails. Vanny has been tampering with the animatronics, uploading Glitchtrap's AI into them, but apparently she skipped Freddy. Like, maybe skipping him because he's like the main man that everyone checks on or something, I don't know. This is confirmed by the emails and special delivery, which talk about someone tampering with the animatronics. We don't know what virus she's uploading to these animatronics. It could very well be one that she made, but it could also just be like the main Glitchtrap virus that she herself is infected with. There are also theories saying that she only messed with Roxanne and Monty and left Chica and Freddy out of it, which is interesting, but according to the trailers recently, no, Chica still attacks you, so they definitely got the Chica. So far, all we know is that she messed with some of the animatronics, and now they can't be controlled or sometimes even found. Since these emails come from special delivery, a game with out of control animatronics, it's easy to dismiss these as about those ones, but it also makes even more sense to be about the animatronics we see in Security Breach, so it could just be both. And at 8, not an animatronic. Vanny does not seem to be an animatronic. Despite Glitchtrap possessing her, there is nothing animatronic-like about her movements. She moves like a normal person, and while there may be some hard to explain things, those things are explained away by saying it's because of William, which you kinda need to accept at this point, because like, that shouldn't make sense already. Like, if you can suspend your disbelief enough to explain how sentient code was able to possess a human being, you're fine. You can easily have everything else explained by that singular, simple moment in the series. Just William possessed her, that's why. Her voice is glitching because William possessed her, that's why. Her eyes glow red because William possessed her. Yeah, you basically have everything else explained. Plus, you can kind of throw everything else out the window, because if we're going to accept that, then there's nothing that we can really complain about. However, I'm not accepting it, so I'm going to keep complaining, because that's my job, and I love what I do. And yes, I mean, complaining about Five Nights at Freddy's, not making YouTube videos, but the same thing applies to that. And at 7, reluctant. Given that Vanny was originally being referred to as the reluctant follower on voices.com prior to her name being revealed in one poster, it's still an interesting title nonetheless, since the act of following typically refers to a choice, especially in this scenario. To be a follower is ultimately a choice, whether you make it intentionally or not, but being a reluctant follower of a serial killer shows me that you could back away, but won't. Perhaps because she doesn't want to fight off the influence entirely, who knows, maybe she has like a sicko side that William was able to unlock and now she doesn't need him to go on a killing spree. I don't know. Like me in these videos. Eventually, they will break me and I'll go insane. And then all of these videos will be used against me in court because maybe I'm joking about this a little too much at this point for it to really be considered a joke. And at 6, the first. No, I don't mean the first as in like I was the first. I have seen everything kind of way. No, I mean that Vanny and presumably Vanessa are making giant leaps forward, not only for women in the Fazbear universe, but for security guards in the Fazbear universe. Being the first non-animatronic character to attack the player, the first female to be a security guard, and the first security guard to have their face shown. These are some major steps in the FNAF world as we typically are playing as the security guard, so seeing their face would be kind of pointless. So we know that even if Vanny isn't Vanessa, although it seems like it is certainly the case, if they are in fact two different people, at least Vanny is a non-animatronic attacking the player and the first female villain, not including robots because they're actual robots and not their characters. One small step for Vanny, one giant leap for Killer Bunny kind. Or is it like FNAF kind? I feel like this is kind of impacting the whole universe as a whole, not just like other killer rabbits. Do you think that Vanny is a bunny or a rabbit? Let me me know down below. Halfway through into number 5, Ness. Ness seems to be a nickname for Vanessa, who seems to be the name of the security guard we've been seeing in the merch and in the trailers. However, this Ness nickname seems to be the only connection in the game so far to connect these two characters. Being present in FNAF AR emails, the character known as Ness seems to be exhibiting behavior that would make sense for a character possessed by the sentient code form of a dead serial killer. Googling, according to the creepy HR rep Lewis, the migration pattern of bees and then how to induce compliance in human subjects. And at one point she just searched for help, which is certainly indicating that she knows what's going on to her and that she's blacking out and probably knows why. Could this Ness be Vanessa that becomes or poses as a security guard in Security Breach while also being the psychotic killer Vanny? Since it's something that the FNAF series would do, I don't know if that's really what's going on here. I don't know anymore. I have trust issues because of this series. And at 4, resisting. Vanessa, however, is fighting back against William's control and resisting his influence. Not only does she try and search for help as indicated by the FNAF AR email, but she is also resisting his control to begin with, since he ends up searching for ways to induce human compliance. We learned that thanks to the FNAF AR emails again. So there could be a happy ending to this game yet. William is losing control over Vanny, hence why he needs the animatronics and help. Maybe as Vanny, he made a Vanny robot to take control since he was losing grip over Vanessa. It's FNAF, anything can happen at this point. Who knows the way that Scott wants this game to end? Will Vanessa be successful in breaking free of William's grasp, or will she die? She's probably gonna die. Just after redeeming herself too, because Scott loves to make us cry. Getting close to the end, and in number 3, the plan. Vanny has a plan. Like, we may not know exactly what it is yet, but she has a plan and she seems to be acting on it. She needs Gregory for something since she has selected one, but she also needs other things. The animatronics on her side. William wants us to bring him what he wants, or that could even be Montgomery Gator, but what is that thing? Is it us? Is it Gregory? Is it an animatronic body? Could the Stitch Wraith just be an animatronic building itself up so that William can use it as a body in this universe? Like, is that what she needs, like, to find out? Or like, what? Or will any animatronic endoskeleton do? The entirety of her plan basically is obscured to us, and especially with the recent trailers, they don't really expand on this plan. They just show us that it's supposed to be kind of scary. We only know that it seems to be that she's planning to resurrect William Afton, and if that is her true plan, she could be trying to maybe eliminate him once and for all. Kind of like doing like a double agent thing in her own head, which would kind of be insane. So I'm kind of expecting that now, Scott, so you better not disappoint. Penultimately, in number 2, human masks. This one is particularly interesting in an email I saw from FNAF AR Special Delivery again. This was sent by our IT stalker Lewis and refers to Vanessa buying 3 realistic human masks. Lewis asks if they're for a screenplay, and unless that's a hint to what's going on with the FNAF movie, that's definitely wrong, my guy. The 3 masks could be put over animatronic robots was my first thought, kind of like the Michael skin suit situation, where it would be an endoskeleton but with a realistic facial features and a thirst for blood. I don't really know what else 3 realistic male masks could be for. Like, honestly, do you have another explanation? Like leaving them around to scare people, covering them in blood, maybe to trick William into thinking that she has Gregory, or maybe the different sections of these masks can help reform Afton's face, so she's gonna put that on a robot. I don't know. I don't know why these masks were mentioned and nobody seems to really be talking about it, so again, I had to bring it to your attention. Please help me figure this one out in the comments if you can. Maybe we can make like a community post about it or something and have like a discussion. Finally, into number 1, out of control. But despite all she's doing to try and resist William's influence, she is still being controlled, at least partially, by William, making her dangerous and out of control. I mean, she's trying to kill a kid, for God's sake, who might even be a close relative of hers considering some of the trailer lines. So her being out of control certainly looks to be the main premise of the game. She may be reluctant, but she's hurting people from what it seems, including anyone who was in that security office when she shut all the cameras off, because I'm pretty sure she was the one who did that. The only question now is who will be able to save her, or is she going to be lost to us forever? How easy is it going to be to wipe out a load of sentient code possessing someone's brain when they shouldn't be able to possess a brain as code from the get-go? Because, well, like, a brain's not a computer. At some point, I'm going to have to believe anything this game throws at me though, because simple logic has been out the door since the doors opened up when you ran out of power. That's right, I managed to mention it again. In a 10, Trapped. We know that thanks to Glitch Trap and the Princess Quest game that Vanessa ends up becoming almost trapped in her own mind. This is still the case after the Security Breach true ending, since the true ending has nothing to do with the Princess Quest minigames, meaning that Vanny after Security Breach is still under Glitch Trap or William's control. Now, it's up in the air as to whether Burn Trap is actually dead or not, but if he is actually finally dead, I don't know if Vanny is free from his control. This is a situation we haven't really gotten much detail on, so it's entirely possible that we don't need to free Vanny anymore since her connection to William may be broken if he died. But if it's connected specifically to the Princess Quest games, she wouldn't be freed yet. So it's still up in the air as to her current fate, but I mean, it's either she's trapped or she isn't, right? It's a 50-50 if you really think about it. In at 9, Vanessa. We know that Vanny's real name is Vanessa, more now than ever before. We had ideas that they were the same character, but as soon as you pull her mask off in the rooftop ending, it's confirmed. We even get a backhanded comment of the creativity of her name when we come across her room in Phaser Quest. Freddy says something along the lines like, Vanny sounds like Vanessa and Bunny. Doing that voice hurts my throat. Which is the story's clever way of congratulating us for making obvious connections before the game even came out. But it seems more of like a sarcastic congratulations to me, at least. Like, even Freddy can find the goddamn connection, you guys. You didn't try very hard. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Anyway, we do know that after Security Breach, Vanny is still Vanessa. And if literally anything else wasn't telling enough, the fact that Vanessa tells us that we deserve a reward and to come to the main stage in a horrifically creepy voice in an effort to waste our time so that we die just before winning should be enough to convince you that Vanny is Vanessa. In at 8, Therapy. Vanessa actually went to therapy, seemingly mandated by Fazbear Entertainment. We know this thanks to the 16 retro CDs that can be found towards the end of the game. They can be played with a CD player in the sister location's hidden room, and the retro CDs require Roxanne's eye upgrade on Glamrock Freddy to actually get. For the CDs to spawn in, Gregory needs to be inside of a upgraded Glamrock Freddy, be near the disc, and be looking at where the CD is highlighted. Then you exit Glamrock Freddy to collect it. If you don't do that, the CD just doesn't spawn it. The order in which the CDs are found does not seem to affect which recordings are unlocked, just the number of CDs found, which is clearly a reference to the 16 tapes found in FNAF VR. However, these tapes also seem to contain therapy sessions between Vanessa and a therapist on every disc starting with the number 7-1, because she's patient 7-1 and not patient 4-6. These mention everything from Lewis to a bunny costume. Yeah, clearly the therapy wasn't really doing much though. But I think that might have been the point. Maybe not to help her, but to make sure that Afton was still under control and that she was still scared of him. And at 7, Ness. With these interviews or therapy sessions, however, we also get more information and clues to the story of the previous 3 FNAF games. Okay, well, 2 main series games and 1 spin-off. Yes, it's correct. These therapy sessions confirm our suspicions that Vanessa was indeed Ness from FNAF AR. So, with this revelation, we know that in FNAF VR we played as Vanessa, who was probably put there by someone higher up at Fazbear Entertainment because they knew what Afton was planning. We got possessed with our mind getting locked inside Princess Quest. We then got sent to the special delivery unit to install our virus on various animatronics as potentially even a test run, and then we were moved to head security guard for the Pizzaplex, which is where Security Breach starts. So, thanks to the simple mention of Lewis and her looking up odd things at work, along with her secret encrypted conversations, we know the full story of Vanessa since FNAF VR, so pretty sweet, actually. And at 6, Aware. Now, we may believe that Vanessa is unaware of her dual personality, that it would make sense if she blacks out when William takes over as Vanny, or however this weird pseudo-possession thing works. However, that's not the case at all, as we learn from CD number 11. It doesn't matter in what order you find these endgame CDs, you just need to find 11 of them in order to hear this. And we get our first indication that Vanessa is truly Vanny. Well, at least the first indication from the tapes, that is. About halfway through this tape, the therapist says, "That's true. So, on your breaks it looks like you were shopping for a costume. You purchased some fake fur material. What are you going to make?" Vanessa then mutters indistinctly, and the therapist replies with, "What was that? Did you say the costume is secret? Why is that?" Vanessa then says, "I can't talk about this. He said he would always be watching. He could be here or there or anywhere in between. Have a listen for yourself."
That's true. So, on your breaks, it looks like you were shopping for a costume. You purchased some fake fur material. What are you gonna make? What was that? Did you say the costume is a secret? Why is that?
I can't talk about this. He said he would
always be watching.
That line of "he said he would always be watching" surely means that she has some idea about what's going on, especially when she's openly talking about how she's making a costume, or at least mutters about it indistinctly after he brings it up. Halfway through in at number 5, still corrupted. In the canon ending at the very least, Vanny is still corrupted by Glitch Trap as far as we know. We haven't saved her with Princess Quest, and all we've really done is prevent Afton from taking over control of Freddy, and then his fate is left in the hands of the Blob. Honestly, when you really think about it, we didn't do much in Security Breach's true endings finale. We pushed a couple buttons, but Chica, Roxy, and Monty are still corrupted. Vanny's still corrupted. We haven't permanently killed off Afton. We just managed to run away with Freddy. We don't even know the state of the Pizzaplex at the end. Like, did this area caving in cause the Pizzaplex to cave in? Like, it's possible, because apparently the racetrack is always sinking by a few inches every time they lay down new pavement. Enough to convince some employees that they're building on a sinkhole. So, would the Afton cave crashing in cause the raceway to cave in? And if it did, would the rest of the Pizzaplex have came with it? What about Princess Quest? We know that the first game, the one we need to unlock all the others, is in the Roxy Raceway Beauty Salon. So if the cave-in would have caused the raceway to get destroyed, would the beauty salon have caved in? Would the game have made it? Would it have been broken? And if it's broken, is Vanny free or is she lost forever? These are all important questions that we don't have the answers to. And at 4, connections. Now, whether or not she knew about this, Vanessa's recommendation for the night guard position came from the top, which does end up confusing plenty of people in the administration, as we learn from various duffel bags. She had no security experience, and she was transferred from another part of the company, that being the special delivery unit. But nevertheless, she still got the job despite multiple people saying that they wouldn't go forward with hiring her, which probably led to their deaths, if we're totally honest. So, who on earth is the one ordering her promotions? Seemingly, we have no idea. Like, we could assume William, but he's currently plugged in charging in the basement. So it would have to be someone who knew her, knew Afton's interest in her, made her a VR tester so she could get possessed, and then made her a security guard so Afton could get to her and get her to do what he needed. But who could it possibly be? That's a theory for another day, once I come up with an explanation. Getting close to the end in at number 3, not a robot. While it may seem like Vanny has some very possessed animatronic-like mannerisms, we can basically guarantee that she's a human based on all this other evidence. If she wasn't a robot, there would be no reason for her to have to go to therapy, and the shrink would be able to tell that something wasn't right when she did go to therapy. He would have included some mention of robots at some point or in some aspect to gauge her reaction. We can also guess that the rooftop ending where we see 2 of her is purely meant to be symbolic, since the panels containing Vanessa looking down are separate from the rest of the ending's panels. And while we may not see any blood around her body anytime she does bite the dust, that's probably because it would be a little too much for a FNAF game. Although we also don't see her torn open after Freddy, like when he gets disassembled. She's never torn open like that. So it's pretty much set in stone that Vanessa, or Vanny if you prefer, is in fact a human, which is probably a good thing if we're honest, because it means that she can actually die. And ultimately, in at number 2, Vanessa A. While we already knew that her name was Vanessa, other sources claim that her last name has been confirmed to start with the letter A. Now, I remember this being a thing, but I don't remember where it started, so I can't confirm if this is still the case. However, the idea that Vanessa is an Afton is only growing stronger after Security Breach, with the parallels via the bunny costumes being obvious, but now, her sitting on a hill with Gregory, wearing purple, her last name starting with an A, and her being pushed forward by the company by some unseen force, we're starting to see that maybe somehow Vanessa A could indeed be Vanessa Afton. Now, is this canon? Not at the time of recording. Is it possible? Entirely. We have no idea what is and isn't possible anymore in this series, to be totally frank. But is it likely? I don't know. It's also possible that Vanessa is not an Afton and that the A is just a red herring. There's also the very real possibility that the A we found was just a mistake and now it's being corrected. We don't know, but only time will tell. Finally, in at number 1, still kicking. We also know that at the time of Security Breach's true ending, Vanny is still alive, as far as we know anyway. The Pizzaplex could have caved in on her, but with how things are going and like how Afton always comes back, I think it's safe to say that Vanny is still alive. Especially since in basically every ending, she has a plan of escape. Freddy lights the place on fire and she's somehow already on the roof. Sure, she doesn't make it out alive, but had Freddy not been there, she would have. If we leave on our own, she still finds us, so she's still alive at that time. And every other time, we don't really destroy the Pizzaplex, so there's no reason for her to die. So as far as we know, and according to past trends in the FNAF sphere, FNAF universe, Vanny is indeed still alive post-Security Breach. The question is,
is, will we be seeing her again soon, or are we going to be waiting forever to find out what really happened to her? Only whoever's taking over for Scott knows, and we don't even know who that is.